Hey y'all, it's me. I'm just coming to say hello and to say thank you to all my subscribers. I first want to start off with this. Y'all have to excuse the picture of the toilet in the background, my mirror. Yeah. But anyway, maybe I need to turn it this way a little bit. Yeah. Mm. But anyway, I'm coming to y'all because my first video that I made was about some hair that was sent to me, and I don't think I really introduced myself, and I felt like it was time for me to start over and do that. I didn't come into this to keep making videos, but I kind of like it, in spite of some things. I'm not going to let that stop me. Who knows if I'm going to keep doing it? I don't know. But here we go. I'm going to give it a try. No, I don't have on any makeup. I got my hair tied up. But anyway, here it goes. Yes. My name is Teresa Richardson. I am a mother of 6. I am a wife of 14 and a half years. We've been together since I was in high school, so that'll make 26 years. I live in Florida. I love cooking, family, going on trips, decorating, anything DIY, lots of things. I love learning stuff, I love the internet, because you can always find out different things on the internet, and I'm all for that. I love that. I love doing research and looking up new things and finding new products, and then I share it with people, hey, somebody might find something that they need or they like, and so that's just me. And that's why I started a YouTube channel, because I was on there looking at comedy videos. This one particular guy I just truly liked, Tony Roberts. If you have ever heard his stand-up, you guys know you about to be, truly pissy listening at him. We were watching him tonight on the Shaq All-Star Comedy Jam for 2012, and baby, this dude was hilarious. I really and truly enjoyed it. But anyway, that was my main reason for opening up, coming to YouTube. And then I just found so many different things on there. I have hundreds of videos that I've shared and put in different categories, because I'm just not one person that's set on one thing. Sometimes I kind of feel like I'm unstable because I'm just all over the place. I just like so many different things, And like I said, I'm a mother of 6. I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41 next year. I taught preschool for almost 16 years. And I've worked with children in child care from ages 0 to 12 years old. My oldest child is 22. The youngest one is 2. I have 4 girls and 2 boys. And their ages are 22, 20, 18, 7.5, 6, and 2. Yeah. And that's my life. I have so many children that I've looked after and I still keep in contact with, and they really mean a lot to me. A lot to me. I've met so many nice people over my life, and I've met some people that I wish to just be like, just put them in a box somewhere and just close it and just keep moving. Y'all not gonna believe this. I want y'all to see what's going on. Wait a minute. I want y'all to see my son. He is on my computer.
And his mom to this day.
See him right here?
I love children. I don't like disobedient children. My children be
He got all these windows
like,
open.
what?
Corey. Look at all these windows he got open.
Here comes Honey Boo Boo Child, scene 2.
Yeah, that's my 2-year-old. He is in my bedroom. My husband is in the bed knocked out. I'm in the bathroom filming this right quick. But yeah, I just wanted to come on, guys, and give y'all a little insight about me. I know in my videos I talk an awful lot, y'all. I can't help it. It's just in me. I don't know how to turn it off. Once my battery gets started, you can forget it. So when y'all hit my videos, if you tired of listening, just please turn it off. You know, but like I said, you know, I'm looking forward to this. I really am. I have met some people in the last couple of days that have given me a lot of encouragement. I have been through a lot, like anybody else. And things that have gone on in my life may not mean a hill of beans to somebody else. But I'm adopted. I wasn't raised by my mother or my father. I was raised by my father's parents. And I used to see them every so often. And they both had habits. And it used to make my skin crawl to know that I could see my mother coming up the street. And I'm picturing it right now. I see her coming up the street. And I used to be like, because I know what she's coming for. She's not coming to see me. She's coming to sit there for 5 minutes to get comfortable, and then she's going to ask my grandmother, which they used to call her name, can I get a couple of dollars to catch the bus home? Yeah, really. Sit there for 5 more minutes, then she give her the money. Well, I'm going to go on because my bus about to come. I used to go out on the front porch and just sit there. Watch her walk down the street, exit left, get to the corner, turn right. She make that right. When she going that way, I know exactly where she going, to the corner store. And if I sit there long enough, I'll see her return. Coming back, going the opposite direction to the street behind me. Y'all, it was just crazy. My grandmother used to get angry with me because I wouldn't run to her and jump in her arms and hug her mama. And I'm like, I don't know her like that. You know, I had been with them since I was 3 months old. She wasn't there not now. Birthday, Valentine's Day, Christmas, nothing. Only those times when she needed something. And it made me sick. I just didn't like it. I didn't want to hug. I didn't want to touch her, nothing. She came to get me one Christmas to take me to be with her family. And baby got me over there and shined on me so bad. I cried. I went to the phone booth. I asked the neighbor to give me a quarter. Because she left me after it was drizzling and my little sister was with me. And she was upstairs and it was raining. So I went upstairs to go get her. She sent me up there to get her. When I know anything, she coming behind me and she gonna hit me. Get y'all behind down them stairs and y'all up here in this rain. Did you just do that? Ooh, my feelings was hurt because I really don't know her like that. And then she gonna pop me for something you sent me to do. Baby girl, I was crushed. You hear me? I asked the neighbor for a quarter, and we had telephone booths back then. And I called home and I told my mama to come and get me. I did not want to be there. And that was the last time they let me go anywhere with her. I used to see her. She used to jump out of moving cars. She used to come there with big behind chairs. I mean, chairs like that. I mean, all on her knees. No skin at all. Down to the pink part of the meat. You know. And I always said I did not want a man that drank or smoked or did drugs. Because my mom and my daddy did both. I saw my daddy one day putting a needle in his arm. And I was like. And he tried to cover it up. And I don't think I felt the same way about him ever since then. And as time went on in life, you know, he wasn't there either. Didn't send no birthday cards. When he was with his girlfriend, he just, she had to make him do stuff, you know. Galen, can you turn that off? I'm in the bathroom. But anyway. Take him in there with Darian until I get through. You heard me? Take him in there with Darian until I get through. Just click the big X and exit out of everything.
Did somebody get this dude some red juice? You cannot give my baby no kind of Hawaiian punch, nothing like that. That boy, he could drink that much and he be so hyper. You have to hold him down. It took me and my husband 2 hours to get him to go to sleep last night.
Okay, y'all, I'm back. This boy had 10 windows open, and all of my videos that I have saved to my computer, he don't open them and got them all playing at the same time. But anyway, but yeah, my hair, this weave get tangled up in my necklace every day.
Straighten your ass up.
Y'all hear that? But yeah, so that part of my life was kind of hectic. I wasn't comfortable with it, and you know, y'all, I carried that with me to this day. I never had anybody to talk to about it. I never was able to let it go. It seemed like I was just by myself. So I kind of built up a wall and just closed myself off from people because knowing that I was adopted and I wasn't originally a part of that family, I was always afraid of being sent back. You know, when you're a child that's adopted or a foster child or something like that, and you're not... and you know you're not a part of that family, even though they didn't make me feel like I wasn't a part, but it just, something was in me. I just was not, you know, I wasn't sure that they wouldn't send me back, because I was like, here I am, a baby, an innocent child, never did anything wrong, and they didn't keep me from the beginning. But yet they continued to have children after me, and they were able to stay with them. And you know, now that I'm an adult and I understand why, it was a blessing for me, because they went through things that I didn't have to go through, you know. But it's still, there's a void there that your parents weren't there. There's not a bond that you have with your parents, and I never was able to get that. So there's feelings that I have with my children that I never felt. So I'm able to share that with them. And that's one thing my husband and I have always tried to do, is be candid with our children about life and things that happen. I'm not one for sugarcoating nothing. I'm going to say it like it is, like it happened. They don't talk about pee-pees and wee-wees. They talks about dicks and pussy, just like that. Yes, they do. Ain't that dude going to walk up to you and give me some coochie. No, they ain't going to say that. They going to tell you what I want to fuck. Plain and simple. So I talk to my children like that. I try not to be so graphic all the time, but especially when my little ones are around, I don't do that. But my grown children, I tell them, be stupid if you want to. Go out there. That 5-minute fuck lasts for just that long, 5 minutes. You tingling, nipples hard, you wet all between the legs, you got butterflies, and you feeling like you in love. Soon as that nigga come, it's over. It's over. So yeah, so from that, you know, me not having anybody to talk to me about life and men and the bullshit they feed you and all this kind of stuff, you know, it helped me to do that with my children. You know, but I still kind of have a little void inside of me where I can't completely open up to people. And then anybody that I do open up to, and my husband tell me that I'm too trusting. He said I trust people too much. And I don't know. I'm just one of those. I say, I don't know. I can't say that I trust people too much. The only thing I think of, people can show you who they are. They just can show you who they are. You have to be able to trust somebody at some point. But it's up to that person whether they do right or they do wrong. So if they come and they just fudge it up, they just fudge it up. They show you who they are and that you cannot trust them. So I don't feel as though I'm too trusting. You know, I'm the wrong kind of person for those kind of people. That's the way I see it. I'm a genuine kind of person. If I like you, I like you. Even if you do something to hurt me and piss me off, I may not fool with you too much, but I'm not going to mistreat you. I'm not going to do that. That's just me. It's not in me. You know, I can get mad and I'm a Taurus, baby. And if anybody know what a Taurus is, we got a side to us that don't nobody want to see. And that's the part that I am truly grateful that I have not let too many people see. My husband has seen it to a certain extent. But if I acted on everything that came through my head, baby, I would be something else. I probably would be behind bars. Because I be wanting to knock a knuckle out. You hear me? For real. For real. You know? So, I was a little girl. When I was a little girl, I was real shy. And that's the reason why. It's because of me not knowing who I was and where I came from and where I was going. I was ashamed to be myself. I was ashamed to, I was afraid to really do anything because I didn't want to be picked on. I didn't want to be laughed at because I had no self-esteem. My parents, they brought me in and everything that I wanted. I was dressed to kill every day. I know if anybody know, like back in the 80s, they used to have the Coca-Cola and Sprite clothes, baby, and the not was it Finger Hut? It was one of those big not Finger Hut. I can't remember the name of it, but we used to get this catalog in the mail along with J.C. Penney's, and baby, they had them Coca-Cola tennis shoes. I had my red and blue Coca-Cola shirt with my white Coca-Cola jeans, and my red and white Coca-Cola sneakers used to look like they used to look like Keds, but they weren't as pointed in the front. They were like the round toes. They looked like shell-toed Adidas. That's what they looked like. And baby, let me tell you, but I loved clothes back then. I knew not to get myself in trouble in school or any other time because I knew I wanted to go shopping on Friday, you know. So I didn't give my parents too many problems until I got to like high school and I started smelling myself and following other people sometimes. And the only trouble I used to get in, I got caught skipping class one time. And just so happened, my aunt worked at a bank. And our dean of girls, she was her loan officer my aunt was my dean of girls loan officer on her house. What kind of luck is that? She saw my last name. She said, you wouldn't happen to know so-and-so? And I was like, yes. And she said, do she work for the so-and-so bank? I was like, oh, yes. She said, oh, honey, let me call her right now. I never did anything else. Didn't have to worry about nothing else either, you know. But they were good to me. As I got older, growing to be a teenager, some things started to show up that I didn't like, you know. I was treated, I felt like, unfairly because it was one other child in the house, which was my aunt's son, and she raised me as hers. You know, even though my grandmother and my grandfather adopted me, their daughter was more like my mother. She was more like my caregiver. All of us lived in the same house together, and she had a son. But I didn't like the fact that he could do something to me, and I can hit him back, but I would get punished, you know. Or here I am, 15, 16 years old. He's younger than I am. I could go out. If I came in the house 5 minutes late, I was on a punishment for 2 weeks. But he can come in the house the same night, well after curfew, 2, 3 in the morning, pissing behind, drunk, throw up all in the bathroom, in the tub. They go in there and clean it up. Well, she would, and let that be it. And you know, that bothers me. And I don't even know if to this day she realized that, how that made me feel. But she's not the kind of person you could talk to, you know. So, yeah, a lot of things like that happened, and I held on to it. And when I started having children, like I said in my other video, I sat across from my mother one day on the city bus. She didn't know who I was from a can of paint. And that hurt me, you know. I wasn't too hurt. I was upset, but I wasn't hurt, put it that way, because I didn't really know her like that. But she had me, and I'm the only one out of 4 girls that look exactly like her. And then the reaction that I got from her, I guess it wasn't one that I was looking for, because all I got was, oh, hey, my baby, you so pretty. And that was it. She didn't say nothing else to me. My stop came, and I got off the bus, and that was it. That was it. And then, you know, years went by, didn't see her until, you know, me and my husband, we were together at that time. We were in high school, and every blue moon she would come by the house, and he just happened to be there. And I was so confused, not really confused, but I just didn't know how to feel about it because I didn't want him to really meet her, because I didn't want to have to explain to him my situation because it was crazy. I didn't want to have to explain that. I didn't want that part of my life to even be a factor, because it wasn't a factor. That's just a part of, she was a part of me being here. You know, she's my mother, and I don't think I've ever disrespected her. I don't even think we were together long enough to have a conversation for me to even give my opinion on anything. I can't tell you her birthday, nothing. I just know her first and last name. I know what she looked like, but she looked like me, just like that. But she always wore a short afro. And, you know, we wound up taking her home one day, and, you know, I just had mixed emotions about it, the whole situation, you know. And years went on. That's when I always knew I had a baby sister, a sister younger than me. Years went on, I realized I had a sister that's a year younger than I am, and I have a sister that's a couple of years older than I am. So it's 4 girls, and I met them when I became an adult. So we didn't grow up together, but my baby sister and I say we're pretty close. You know, we're not like sisters ought to be, but we talk every day, 5-6 times a day. You know, my other 2 sisters, they don't fool with us too much. That's another can. I'm gonna just leave it at that. They just alike, put it that way. You know, I used to drink. Well, I tried to do all of that stuff when I was young, in the privacy of my own home, but it's just not meant for me. My body makeup just cannot handle it, and I don't know if it was due to the fact that my mom was an alcoholic and a drug addict when she was carrying me, that, you know, it just does something to me. You know, I can't do the things that everybody else do. I can't eat everything everybody else eat, like chocolate, caffeine. I can't have too much caffeine. A king-size Snicker, if I eat it, my heart will be racing all night, and I won't be able to go to sleep till about 5 o'clock in the morning. All I have to do is eat one. And I've done that since my son, my oldest son, since he was a baby. I've had those problems with my irregular heartbeat. And until last month, I found out what it's called. It's called premature ventricular contractions, and it PVC. So I have a pill, half a pill I have to take a day. It's something that I'm starting on because it gives you side effects, push you to sleep. And I can't afford to be put to sleep when I have my baby that I have to be up with at night. Because he has some horrible sleeping hours, and then he has allergies. So whenever his allergies flare up, he's up, you know. And so I'm doing half a pill right now. I'm not working right now. And, you know, God knows best, because some things happened within the last 2 years that I can't say I wouldn't have been able to handle it if I'd have had to get up in the morning. But I thank God to be able to be home. And my husband, and it's the kicker, my husband and my children, my 2 older children, they had a conversation, and they got together, and they came to an understanding that I would be home. Isn't that something? Your children, that they will help daddy to take care of whatever bills. He take care of the majority, but, you know, any extras that they want, they have to pay for themselves. You know, they want the cable boxes, and they want the new cell phones, and you know, of course, they go in on, because we have to wash clothes and soap and toilet paper, that kind of stuff. They help him out with all of that, and he do the rest. So I call that a blessing. You know, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in the future. There's no way I can tell that. Nobody, even if you got a 9 to 5, you have no idea what you're going to be doing tomorrow. You think you're going to get up and go to your job tomorrow, but you don't know if that's where you're going. You don't know if it's going to be there. So, I mean, my mind wanders on that a lot, but I have to wait on God. You know, He made it possible for me to be home right now, and I have to learn to just wait and trust him. Continue to pray about it. I pray for guidance that he got me in the right direction. If it's time for me to get up and get a job, for him to provide the right one. Because I've only done one type of employment for the last almost 20 years, and that's work with children. You know, so we'll see how that goes. And as far as my family is concerned, my daughter's working 2 jobs, and that's by her choice. She's in school for her bachelor's degree. My son, he works with my husband, and he was in school for graphic design, and now he's going to take a break to the end of the year, and he's going to open his business he's got a little page on Facebook called Red Label Studios, and they design pretty much anything, websites, they do photography, they make t-shirts, all kinds of stuff like that. So if y'all want to check him out, you can. And if you need something done, just let him know that I gave you his name, and go from there. But show him some support. He's a young man. He's different than a lot of kids because he don't wear his clothes sagging. He's kind of like a little nerd, you know what I mean? Because he loves to draw. And I'm going to show y'all some of his drawings. He likes animated stuff like the Japanese cartoons and stuff like that. He don't do human profiles. Where did this fly come from? But we ain't had a window over here today, but yeah, there's a fly in my house from somewhere. But anyway, that's what he's doing. And then I have my 18-year-old. This is her last year in school. So that's what my family is doing. Me, myself, I'm looking to do a few things. I've been looking into and getting some information and getting to know some people and the ins and outs of different types of businesses and how to get the suppliers for the things that I want to do. I have some friends that have shoe businesses and some that have, the hair weave. I can do wholesale if you want to buy, like if you want to get 10 bundles of hair. The more hair you buy, the less the price, And if you buy 10 bundles of hair, the price does go down, but I can also give you $10. I think it's a 30%. Well, any kind of promo code that I want to give, I can give you that. It's kind of like $10. Say for instance, $10 on each, $10 off each bundle. That's some heck of a money when you buying it. But then you can turn around and you can sell it. And that's something for whatever price you want them. So they have 12 inches all the way to 32 inches. I don't know how you get no better than that. 32 inches, baby, that'll probably be down all the way past my behind. 32 inches. I ain't but 4 feet 11. 4 feet 11 of fabulous fun. Yeah. And this here is long to me. And this is 18 and 16 inches. I didn't even do the whole 16-inch pack. But, yeah. All I did to it today was just put some Infusium satin lotion in it and left that it. That's it. I did that, last night, and I plaited it in like maybe 5 big giant plaits, and then just took it loose and let it hang. It's cute. I like it. But like I said, those are some things I'm trying to get into, and I also, I like this thing of sharing, with women, different topics, because it's not only therapeutic, but it gives you insight. It gives you information that you can use, whether it's for yourself or somebody else. So that's something that I'm gonna focus on. I don't do like the shopping hauls and stuff like that. I haven't even thought about that. You know, I did share some things that I bought for my son the other day, but that was just because I was running my mouth and it happened to be right there. But when I do my shopping, it's spur of the moment, and I promise you, my mind do not be on taking out no camera and holding it, because I'm looking at everything in the store on the rack. That's just me. I don't want nobody to bother me. Now, if I got somebody with me and they gonna hold the camera while I talk and walk, then that's good. But when I'm by myself, that ain't gonna happen. Not unless I find a good deal on something, you know, and I got time and I be done through all that I want in my basket, then I can show you what's in my basket. But I don't even know if I'm gonna do that. But I have like I was telling you about my medicine that I'm taking. I also have asthma. I haven't had to use my inhaler in a while. Thank you, Jesus. That's a bad feeling to have your lungs feel like a bear squeezing it. Ooh, that is terrible. It's terrible. I don't like that. And then the medicine make you jittery and make your heart race and stuff like that. And just recently I went to have my first mammogram. And it came back. Everything was fine. But then I had a abdominal ultrasound, and they did find a polyp in my gallbladder. So they're going to be watching that every couple of months. I had 2 ultrasounds. They wanted to make sure that it wasn't just like a stone or something like that. Because if it moves around, then it's, you know, it'll eventually, I guess, deteriorate or pass through or something. But it didn't do that, and they showed it to me. It looked like it was about the size of a dime. So they're going to watch that. And the little medicine that I take. And I am not the best person in shape. I have not exercised, really, truly exercised since high school. And lately I've been doing a lot of sitting. So I got to do something, because I don't want to get that top shelf booty. You know, where the top of your butt is big and the bottom part flat. I don't want that. And in a way, sometimes I look like I'm getting at it. My husband was like, you need to do some squats if you're concerned about it. Because I'm my worst critic. He happy with all that booty back that I done got since I've been home. I ain't never had no flat butt. I've always had big hips. But I ain't never had no flat butt. But it ain't been no donkey butt like it is now. That I say, you know. But I done grew in the middle. I ain't never really had no stomach. But I have lately. And it's there. I want to get it down. It's holding up my big breast, but I want to get it down. So I got to make a choice in my head to get myself healthy. But I don't want to do it on my own. I need some expert advice. Somebody that's going to guide me in the right direction. Because I don't want to do nothing that's going to hurt myself. You know. And, I had a conversation with one of my family members the other day and kind of shared a few things, you know, and they were like, well, why didn't you come to me? Because truthfully, I didn't feel like I could. I've never really been comfortable with my family like that, because they were so, I say, conservative, you know. You don't suck your teeth, you don't roll your eyes, you don't fold your arms, you don't do this, you don't do that. And at one point, I just didn't feel like I could do that, you know. In a way, I felt like I was a disappointment, because here I am with 6 children. At one point in my life, I thought I was through. But every time y'all not gonna believe this, every time I tried to get my tubes tied, you know, the doctor would be like, the first time he told me I needed to have counseling because I was too young. Okay, then he waited till he got me on the doggone table to tell me, okay, well, no, you're gonna have to come back because I'm not your doctor. But I got the form filled out. I'm not your doctor. I would prefer your doctor do it. Okay, you got me numb, this, that, and the other. You gonna let me go home? And then they did it to me again. Lady had me, they wheeling me to the operating room, and then she changed her mind and said she don't want to do it. I was like, well, okay. You know, I can't argue with destiny. And sure enough, Um, if I had got my tubes tied, my last 3 children I wouldn't have had. And then when I was pregnant with my last baby, January 23rd, my husband had a vasectomy. I didn't even have to let them open me up because the doctor had talked to him about it. I had been talking to him about it, but he was like, that's messing with my manhood. But as time went on and he saw it, we went and they showed him a film as how it's done, and they talked to him and said, it's easier for a man to do it than a woman because they have to be opened up, and then they have so many things that can go wrong, and then you have to make sure your bowels and all of this kind of stuff is working right, and it's just a lot. And all it takes is 10-15 minutes from start to finish for a man, and all you need is a day off and your pain pills and an ice pack, and you good to go from there. And he did it. He did it. And I was proud of him because he didn't have to do that, but he did it for us. And I know that it wasn't nobody but God, because all those years I tried to get my tubes tied, and God had a plan. He wanted his children to be brought to this world, and he made it happen. And just think, right after the last one, my husband wanted another son. He had 4 girls, and he only had 1 boy at the time. Now he's got 2 boys. And that was a blessing. I think about all those years, that's amazing. Huh? No. I'm gonna call her, Gayla. But I lost my train of thought. But yeah, it was a blessing to do that. And y'all, I'm looking in the mirror at my hair. But things happen for a reason. It do. And I dealt with anxiety, where your heart just started beating fast for no reason, and you just feel aggravated, agitated, and your heart racing, and you can't calm down. And I went through all of that. I had to go see a counselor, and baby, that was not a good experience. I walked out and I ain't been back. She was not a help to me at all. I had my children young, of course, and when you're a little girl and you have dreams of doing things in your life, some children be like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, I want to be this. Y'all know what? I wanted to be somebody's mother. I wanted to have a set of twins. I promise you, I don't know what that's all about, but I didn't have no aspirations of doing nothing else. I wanted to be somebody's mama. Everybody else was like, I was good at doing a lot of things. I was always good at dancing. I used to do jazz. I used to do modern dance, regular dancing. I was a good cheerleader. I went to cosmetology school, but I didn't finish because that's when I found out I had asthma. And all of the chemicals was setting off my asthma, and I was out, and I just couldn't handle it. So I didn't ever finish. And with that, I started going to school to be a medical assistant. That's when I found out I was pregnant with my second child. Couldn't stand the smell of that place. Y'all just don't know. Anybody that has ever had morning sickness, y'all know what I'm talking about. And I don't mean just to the point where you feel nauseated. I mean to the point where you can't stand to smell your own breath. You can't stand to smell no type of seasoning. I couldn't stand no kind of scented soap, scented lotion, scented deodorant, nothing. I wouldn't care what part of the house I was in. If my husband came in and he done had something, he wasn't allowed to have any type of seasoning. He could come in the house, I promise you, put one foot in the front door, and he say hey to somebody, I could be in my bedroom with the door closed, and I would instantly start crying. You know why? My sense of smell. I'd be like, Gayla, you had garlic at work. Oh, you got to go take a bath. They would have to go take a bath and brush their teeth. He couldn't sleep in the room with me if he done had garlic or something like that. He couldn't. And I have to sleep with my nose and everything covered up. Take a towel when you close the door and put the towel down around the bottom of the door so I can't smell nothing else in the rest of the house. I used to be that sick. My taste buds on my tongue used to be the size of a pencil, an unsharpened pencil. It was awful. I would throw up so bad I would get Charlie horses in my stomach. I lost weight. I never gained any weight. My 7-year-old, I went into labor with her when I was 26 weeks. I had started having contractions when I was like 3 months, and they labeled me as high risk because I had asthma, and for that reason, I remember going that day. My girlfriend Tammy, I love her so. She took me to the store because we were shopping for my baby shower. We were going to get the invitations and the decorations, and we walked in the store for maybe 2 hours. And my stomach was hurting. It didn't hurt any worse than it usually do. But I got home that night and I was craving fried chicken, scalloped potatoes, and corn, and I ran out of flour. And my car at the time had an oil leak. And my cousin lived down the street from me, but I was too big to even walk down that street. That time of night, it was dark. I think it was like 8 o'clock. And I drove that smoker behind car. Y'all ever seen the cartoons when it's a big behind cloud of smoke behind the car as it's going down the street? That was my car. I drove it down that street because I was desperate for some flour. I went to her house and got that flour, fried that chicken, and I was sitting to the table talking to my mom on the phone. And we were writing out the guest list, and my stomach was hurting me. And she was like, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah, my stomach hurting." She said, "Well, you writing the times down?" I started writing the times down, and they got to where they was like between 5 and 7 minutes. And she said, "Well, why don't you go lay down?" So I went and laid down, and they stopped. About 5 o'clock that morning, I got up, I had to pee. I went and sat down on the toilet, and I was urinating, and when I stopped urinating, I could still hear water, and I was like, well, maybe my stomach did feel tight. I'm saying to myself, well, maybe I'm having a contraction and it's pushing on my bladder. That's what's making the extra liquid come out. Didn't think nothing of it. Cleaned myself up, went and got back in the bed and laid down for about another 15, 20 minutes. And I was like, baby, I said, I feel wet between my legs. Will you look down there and see if it's something? Because I never had my water to break before. They always did it in the hospital. And he said, well, I see a little bit of water, but I don't know where it's coming from. It still didn't dawn on me, fool, that your water breaking because I was still having contractions. He had to get up and go to work. His friend was picking him up, and he got dressed. So I got up and went and took a shower, changed my dress, and I was sitting on the side of the bed, and all of a sudden my back started hurting. I was like, ooh. I went and woke my oldest daughter up. I said, will you please come and call Tammy to come and take me to the hospital because my back hurt. I went and got in the shower till she got there and let the hot water beat on me. I dried off, got dressed. She took me to the hospital, y'all. I felt like we hit every bump, rock, pothole, ditch, whatever it was on that highway, on the streets. But once we got to the highway, the car just felt like it was doing this boom, 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 boom. I was in so much pain. And they were like, you too early. You can't go and you can't be in labor. So the lady said, well, let me wheel you upstairs. We'll check you out and see. And then the other lady was walking beside me. She said, squeeze my hand every time you have a contraction and squeeze it when it stops. So I was doing that. And she was like, ooh, hey, that's 3 minutes. All the way upstairs. She was like, oh no, y'all, we got to hurry up. Got me up there, got me in the bed, put the gown on me. They came and checked me. She said, your water has completely broken. Make a long story short, they came in and told my husband. I called him and told him to come. The hospital was not far from where he worked. And the doctor proceeded to tell him everything that could go wrong or that could be wrong with her being born early. And he was pitiful. He was just sitting there with his head down in his hand. And then the girl Tammy, she went and took her son to school. And she came back and she was with me. And then my husband's cousin, Sean, she came in when she was there with us, and so I had both of them with me because he wasn't no good. He wasn't no help at all. So he left and walked the hospital. And then he came back, and until they gave me, the pain got so bad, they gave me an epidural. And then it was on 5 minutes. Literally 5 minutes. And it made my heart just go out of whack, just racing. Blood pressure shot sky high. They had to turn it off, so it didn't work. Whatever the medicine was, it was too much for my body. And right after that, I said, "Ooh, I feel something." And they was like, "What?" Look down there, her little butt was coming out. They throwed everything on top of him. I had to scoot to the other table in the operating room because she was early. And she was, he said, "Don't push, don't push." And I wasn't pushing. When he threw the cover back to look down there, he couldn't even put his gloves on. She came right on out, and he grabbed her, and he turned her upside down like that to where her head was up. And y'all, she was just the cutest she could be. She was blowing like that. Big old jaws. Head was the size of a lemon. Her head was this big. She was so precious. I'm looking at her like she was a normal baby. Didn't think nothing was wrong with it, that she was just little. And they took her in there. She was just this little bitty thing. And that night, my husband went to see her while I was in recovery. He came back looking sick because he had never seen nothing like it. But you could literally see through her skin. That's how early she was. She was 26 weeks and 4 days, and she wore 2 pounds 1 ounce. She was 13 inches long, and she stayed in the hospital 3 months. She caught RSV in the hospital, so they put her in ICU for 12 days. She was on a ventilator for 12 days because it's like pneumonia for infants. She couldn't breathe on her own, and my husband and I went in there one night, and we put our hands together, and we prayed for her, and you could literally hear the cold in her chest, even outside the room, because we had to wear masks and full body suits. Everything had to be covered, and we had to scrub up before we go in, and even if we went out to go use the bathroom, before we go back in there, we had to scrub up. But we prayed for her that night, and I don't usually call after 12 o'clock because I know they have shift change, but I called, and they say, "Well, we have good news and we have bad news." The good news is, the bad news is Jalen extubated herself. She pulled her vent tube out. But they had her stretched out, y'all, like she was on the cross. No lie. Laying on her back, both arms out, tied to the bed. And she had a blanket folded like this across her head because they couldn't put her to sleep. She was too little. So she was laying there all those 12 days. I didn't know that she wasn't, out. I thought they put her to sleep. And just so happened that day that we prayed for her, the blanket was kind of loose, and I happened to look, and I was like, I see her little eyelashes doing like this, and I said, "Oh my God, my baby's awake." And they said, "Yeah, she's been awake the whole time," and I did not know. I had no idea. I promise I didn't. And all I could see was the little eyes, y'all. Oh, it hurt my heart so bad. She was beautiful. Them little eyelashes, she got long eyelashes, and she was like this, like, "Mommy, it's me," And I couldn't take the blanket off because if I did, it would make her head free. And when they take it off, she do like that, and then the thing come out. I was crushed. I was. But they said that night she extubated herself, but God stepped in when we prayed. You hear me? And they didn't have to put it back in. She was able to breathe on her own. To God I give glory. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Yes. They didn't have to put it back in. And she stayed a couple more days. And now this one thing about private insurance. My husband had some good insurance. You hear me? They gave us guess you want to say caseworker for Jalen. This lady went to the hospital every day to make sure they was doing everything they were supposed to for Jalen. Not only because of their bottom line, but things that she needed. If it was something she needed, whether it was a car seat, receiving blankets, that kind of stuff, all I had to do was tell them. If I didn't have gas to put in my car, here we have a hospital Baptist Hospital, and they have their different areas, which is like the children's part, Wolfson's Children's Hospital. Well, she was at Wolfson's, and they had it to where they have something like they own a little hotel that's attached to the hospital, that I didn't have to go home if I didn't want to, but I had my other children I had to look after. So I could have been there all day, every day, if I wanted to, but I had my other children that I had to get off of school and help with homework and that kind of stuff. But it was so nice. It was so nice. But I cried when I had to leave her at that hospital. Ooh, I cried like a baby. Do you hear me? But the lady was like, I just got some paperwork for you to fill out, and if you can't get here, just call me and let me know, and we'll make sure that you get here to be with her, and sleep with a extra t-shirt on up against you so she can get your scent, and get a tape recorder and talk in the tape recorder so we can play your voice for her, because she's used to hearing your voice and your heartbeat. And one of my greatest moments was when they finally let me hold her. I don't even know how old she was, y'all. Because it's like I say, my days just ran together. I just wanted to be there. And then I suffered postpartum depression after I had her. So I was home crying every day. Couldn't get myself together. I just was a mess. And you know, it took me, I had to pray and read my Bible every morning. I put it on. I used to watch Creflo Dollar, Joyce Meyer, and Joel Osteen every morning, sitting in my rocking chair in my room, and I had to turn my phone off. What I would do, my cousin lived down the street. She knew what time to call me, and I would read in my Bible, and then I would fix me some breakfast, and then by a certain time of day, maybe by 10 o'clock, she would call, and then we would talk. She would talk to me to keep my mind, you know, active, so I wouldn't sit there and be thinking about things. And I can't tell you when I came out of it, y'all, but I did. I was standing to my kitchen sink, and I felt like if I did like that, that I was just going to be gone, that my mind was going to be gone. And I was so scared, and I was just calling on the name of Jesus. And he dried my tears, and he kept me here. Yes, he did. All I remember is putting my hands back in the dishwater and continue to wash my dishes. I can still feel it to this day. I really just felt like my mind was just going to go just like that. I was just going to be gone. And I came out of it. His insurance, I went back to work after my 6 weeks, and his insurance company called me and was like, I hear good news is in order, that Jalen is coming home tomorrow. I was like, what? Nobody told me. And I said, let me call you back. So I called the hospital, and when you call the front desk to call in, they told the doctor that it was me. So the doctor picked up the phone, which I love her till this day. Dr. Lim, she's the head neonatologist over there. And baby, she was something else. She's shorter than I am, but that little woman don't play. You hear me? Because when they got time for me to do my kangaroo care, which is lay her on my naked chest and just let her lay there and hear my heartbeat and feel my skin, the nurses thought that she was too young to do it. But she said, did you not hear what I said? I said, give her to her mother. She's a little, I don't know if she's Chinese or what. Whatever she was, that sister bad. She stands with her feet apart and her hands behind her back, and she say what I said, give her to her. She's fine. Give her to her. And they gave her to me. I went in that room and took my shirt and stuff off, and they gave me a gown. And I got pictures of it, y'all, and I have to show. I'm going to find them tonight when I finish this video, and I'm going to show y'all. It'll be at the end of it, so y'all just check them out. Some of these things that I'm talking to y'all about, I'm going to put some pictures. I think I have a picture of my birth mother, and you'll see it. So I'm going to hopefully, and I'll be up for a while. My husband in there sleep. I don't know if y'all can hear him snoring, but yeah, that was a day for me. And when they said she was coming home, they said be here tomorrow at 12 noon to pick her up. So I called my husband and told him she was coming home. But y'all, I panicked because I hadn't did any shopping. I had just went back to work. I hadn't did any shopping. because I was going to have the baby shower, but I didn't because I had her. And then I didn't have it because I didn't know what size clothes she was going to be able to wear or what, you know. So I was standing there and I just got worried, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I told my boss, I said, Jalen's coming home tomorrow. And they was like, really? Congratulations. I said, but I haven't done anything. And she was like, well, what? I haven't done anything. I don't have nothing. The only thing I had was some receiving blankets, and she did have some onesie shirts, and those were the things that I had to take to the hospital for her, and her car seat, because she had to go through car seat therapy, and she had to be able to sit in the car seat and maintain her body temperature and her heart rate for a certain time period before they let her come home. We had to do infant CPR and first aid, all of that, and she passed all of that. But we didn't know if she was going to come home with a heart monitor on. And that's the scariest part, because you have to know how to resuscitate her. And if her heart starts, you got to be in the room to hear the machine go off. So that means you can't run the vacuum. You can't take a shower. You can't do nothing when you home with her by yourself. And that was going to be scary for me, you know, to know my baby heart done stopped. And I got to stand there and I got to resuscitate her to get her heart back stimulated. But to glory to God, she didn't come home with one. So, that same day, I'm sitting there. I'm supposed to be at work, but my mind wasn't there. And my boss, she had to go out and run some errands, and I was just sitting there. And y'all, when I tell you, she was a blessing to me. When she came back, she hadn't been to Walmart, y'all. She had bags, mammy, of all kinds of stuff. Bottles, wipes, wash rags, socks, bibs, diapers, lotion, all kinds of stuff she bought. And I was like, I started crying. Y'all don't know I'm a bag of water. I am. I'll cry in a minute. I can't stand to see somebody hurt. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm mad. I cry when I'm excited. I'm a crybaby. Yes, I am. But she had all of that stuff, and it was a blessing. And then the hospital gave her a red wagon full of stuff. Diapers. I had diapers for I don't know how many months. Bottles. She had a certain type of milk that she could only drink. And then they gave her bottles that looked like a medicine syringe is what she used. And we didn't tell anybody she was coming home besides my boss, because the doctor wanted to talk to her, because I was gonna have to find a daycare center for her to go to. And my boss was like, well, you can bring her up here. And I said, but she's got to have special care. So the doctor talked to her on the phone, and my boss agreed. At the time, I was working at a church, and they had a school, and they had a child care facility, and I was the preschool teacher with the 4-year-olds. And she said, I'll be her caregiver. And she was. And when they say that, they mean you are the only person besides her mother that can touch her, feed her, change her diaper, anything. And the hospital, they sent home all kinds of disinfectant, gloves, masks, all kinds of stuff, and made sure that my boss had it in order to be her caregiver. And we had a volunteer grandparent, and I love her to death. Her name is, we call her Mama Jeanette. And she wanted to hold Jalen so bad, but we couldn't let her. I couldn't let her. Because she couldn't be in contact with too many people because she was a preemie. So she had her own room, and my boss took care of her every day. And I could still see her. Oh, that was a beautiful child, y'all. She had big eyes and these little juicy lips. And then she got fatter and fatter and fatter. She was gorgeous. Had a head full of black curly hair. Do y'all know them people cut my baby hair? Her vein blew out in her leg, and then she got a chemical burn in her arm. And so they had to put it in her head. They shaved my baby all the way around. When I tell you, when you stretch Jalen's hair out, her hair was that long. All over. This is at 2 months old. Her hair was that long. All over. Do you know they shaved my baby head all the way around? I was like, what happened to her hair? And they told me what they had to do. I said, I wish y'all would have called me and asked me, could you do it? I'd have told you to just do it in one little spot and not the whole doggone head.